YouTube, it's Brad Phillips. We have another bike. We know you guys love them so much. So this is called the BR100 from YYG, and it is something special because it looks like the motorcycle from Indiana Jones. Not endorsed in any way by Indiana Jones or any of its ownership interests, just so you know. And so we saw this thing and we thought, that is the goofiest looking thing. Is it even gonna work? And the answer is yes, yes it does. And we are really happy with it actually. I've used it for one evening, which is a little bit more than normal for our initial kind of maiden run. And I really like the thing. It's got 4-inch fat tires, 20-inch wheels, which again, I've also said, I'm not gonna do bikes with 20-inch wheels because I think 26 is about the minimum I can do. But I'm gonna tell you this bike actually works well, I think. I still probably look big on it, but I feel the right size. And that's because of the way that they constructed this bike. First of all, there's no pesky gear changers that really are meaningless usually on electric bikes. If you're like me, you're using the power that's generated from the motor drive, in this case, 1200 watts. This has a single drive, so you don't have to worry about any of that. Plus that leaves room up here for this provided cell phone holder. Now, of course, it doesn't come with a cell phone, but I was just gonna show you that. For whatever reason, ours came with it. And so that's kind of nice. It's got a quick release here and it slides in. The display looks like what others, we left our little cover plastic on, so you can see there's a plus and a minus here and a power button here. There's also a nice convenient power on and off light. You can see there's a large light, and that is easy to point while driving, okay? So you know, if you're driving along and you realize you're kind of shining them a little bit too high for oncoming traffic, you can adjust it. It is very wide and it's tapered down on the bottoms. So that's not necessarily good, but it's better than other large round lights we've seen in the past. Now also show them the instruments here. There's also a left and right turn signal. So that's pretty sweet right here and right here. So that's gonna be a right turn signal off and then left turn signal and then a horn. The horn isn't so loud that it's obnoxious, but it's not so quiet that it's ineffective. We have had problems with that because we want lights, we want brake, and then brake lights.
Yep. It actually turns on.
That's one light and it stays on, correct?
Yes, when you brake.
One of the biggest features on this bike that I love are the brakes. They actually work. I'm a big guy. I'm darn near pushing 300 pounds when I'm riding a bike like this. If I was in my work garb, I'd be up to 300 pounds. And I could wear this. If you look over here, the brakes are over here. They're hydraulic disc brakes. And they actually have big enough discs to work. And they actually work. And everything stays in order, which is really nice. And they're beautiful. And then up here, if you look at this, everything is sturdy and solid and feels good in the hand. And then there's quick adjustments, which I love. That is one of the biggest problems we've had on e-bikes. Also, this one comes with a quick release front tire. And so you can undo this and take the front tire off. Now, you may not be able to fold this bike because of the construction, but I will tell you this. It is easy to do everything you need to do on this, up to and including the adjustment for the springs. These springs can be adjusted without tools. That's the first time we've seen that. Even on our Varla scooters, I've had to use special tools that come in and adjust, and it's very difficult to adjust, okay? Now, the other thing is metal. Everything is metal, which is really nice. I love that it's actually got some weight to it, but it's not so heavy that you feel it when you're riding. And that's the next thing I'm gonna bring up is just real quick, this beautiful leather, simulated leather satchel, whatever you wanna call this. Now, I don't have anything in mind right now, but you can actually stick your charger in there, which is nice. And the only thing I think is kind of weird is because the battery goes in here, and it's currently I've got the charger plug, which is like the mic jack style, exposed. Easy to cover, easy to lock and unlock, and then you just pull it and the whole thing comes out. Now, we do show that in the Unbox build radio setup, which is after this portion. We're gonna do our camera cruise point of view, riding around a couple of laps around the house and up and down the drive, and then I'll take you for a ride like we normally do. But I can tell you this, I can get this going 34 miles an hour with me on it, which means if I'm 300 pounds and you're 200 pounds, there's a good chance you're getting a little bit more speed out of it. but it's one of the few bikes that we don't lose speed up on this hill. And we don't lose a lot of speed when we're going around. Now, it will still stall out on some of our steepest hills. Like over here, we have a really steep hill and it will stall out, meaning that if I'm starting from a low speed, it won't go. And then I have to pedal to help. And from dead stop, it's not enough juice to get up the hill. We've seen that on other 1200 plus watt bikes, and we've seen it on this one as well. But that being said, it is very small. If you have a tight space, this bike would be good for that. And yet it still has suspension front and suspension back. And so for you that want a decent ride, this one might be good. However, I'm gonna say one thing about the suspension, and that is the family jewels do suffer on this seating arrangement, okay? A little bit, because it's got a seat in the front. Normally you would have a taper to a very thin point. In your case, depending on where you sit and how you choose to sit, you may find that when you hit a bump, you're gonna need to make some adjustments. Also, I wanna point out, look how close the pedal is to the ground. You have to plan on riding the pedals in the middle neutrally so that you can make turns. So without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and get going and get some riding in. Also, there are 5 power assist modes. It is a pedal and throttle. Braking disables the throttle action, which is good for safety. Get in the habit of grabbing the brake when you're new to an e-bike. It'll help keep you safe. And I really love that it's easy to turn on and off the light. I know that seems like a stupid detail, but truthfully, the push buttons are always hard to tell what condition you're in.
Yes.
And then if you have to press and hold a button, it's exceptionally difficult to actually make that transition. Now, another thing I want to talk about, and I'll point myself this way for the camera crew. When you ride this bike, you have to make a decision if you want to ride it with your body further back or further forward, depending on how you want to ride. Now, you may notice that there's a little bit of room here for another person. I don't know how well this bike would handle a second person, so we don't want to suggest that you do it, but there is an accessible post here and an accessible post here. And if you decided you wanted to try to put stands on there so that you had a passenger, I think it might work if you had like a small child with you. So anyway, without further ado, we're gonna ride right now and leave questions and comments down below. So we'll just go up and down the drive a few times and show you how it does. The thing immediately, the other thing I notice is look how close my knees are to the controls. See this? I just hit the horn with my left leg. Now that's a fairly tight turn, so you can move your body back and you can slide back and forth, but you don't slip accidentally. You have to actually move your body, okay? And it's very eager. So now just throttle, and I can get up to 15 miles an hour already. That's pretty speedy, folks. It's not a dirt bike fast, but it's fast. And where I find that the family jewels suffer is when you have that undulation like what I just did going on this little bump. You'll find this to be where you really get that ramping effect. Your butt does okay, but the family jewels tend to get a little bit of rockage there. At least in my body type. So, you can see I am not superhuman. That's pretty dang fast from almost dead still. I'll go down to the end of the driveway.
Okay.
Very good braking. Very, very good braking. That's one of my favorite parts of this bike. Going from 15 to 0, and it's not hard.
Yeah.
So I gotta say, also locking up the back wheel first rather than locking up the front wheel is nice, okay? So if you guys want something that's fun, that's compact, and yet packs all the features that we've seen in many of these bikes we've reviewed, this is not a bad place to start. Now, how does it compare to the other bikes? I can say this, this one, because of the shape and style and design, It doesn't compare. It's just a different thing. And so for that reason, if you're in the market for an e-bike and you want to have something that looks really good, I feel like this looks more masculine than other choices that are small wheeled, okay?
Yes.
Now also, I do firmly believe that having a big light helps. Although I'm gonna say this big light is not as bright as I thought it was gonna be. It's not obnoxiously bright where you're blinding everybody around, but it's also, I mean, it could always use more. So I also don't see a lot of ambient lights on the side. And for that reason, I still feel like this bike could use even more. So while this bike has a cool looking grilled light, and it definitely fits the look that they're going for here, I feel like it's not as bright as it could be, okay? So a lot of things to consider. I really like this bike. I've only been using it for about a day, but that's longer than what we normally do when we do our Unbox build radio setup. So our maiden run is usually right after, and we do have a short clip of that in the front driveway here. So if you stay tuned and watch that, you'll see. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get me set up with the chest rig and get going for a ride. All right, guys, so we're gonna try to get you a shot at some point of the miles per hour and things on the screen, but you're probably just gonna see clips of that. All right, without further ado, here we go, because I want you to be able to see where we're going. All right, one of the weirder things, you kick your leg over and then you go to town, you start driving. And as you can see, look how here this is. That's not a small hill, folks. Oh man, already going 15. This thing is eager. It wants to go. And I can pedal with it and really get that speed up. Or, so you see, I'm already going 28. I do see a little bit of a disparity in the speed now, it looks like. I mean, not anything to write home about. We're gonna go ahead and take a quick trip down into the cemetery. And as you can see, I'm just idling. I've got nothing going on. So if you're pedaling at this point, I'll try to give you guys a shot of what it looks like down there. And the brakes are great. You can really carry a lot of speed downhill and you can confidently brake, which is nice. And you have to tip a lot, which is nice. I like that. It's cool. It's like riding a motorcycle. Trying to give you guys a couple of different views so you can see all the stuff. See how nice it is, easy to get to everything. Okay, so coming up here, I gotta kind of keep an eye on the road. Nice sharp turn. And then just going downhill, a little bit of pedal to help on the turn. We've got it going according to the bike. Got it up to 34 miles an hour. Looks like we do have a little bit of a disparity here in our speed though. So let's call it around 30 miles an hour here. But I really, really like the way this bike rides. It's just it's a different feel because of where your legs and body sit. Come up here to the stop. We'll actually just bypass the stop here. But as you can see, it gets going quick. And I really like that. Looks like I tightened my reflector in a stupid spot so it came free. But it's really comfortable to make turns. Come up here, hard brake, got my pedals at a good level. And then we'll just take it right over this edge here. We'll just kind of do a quick sorties around the building here. This is where you're gonna feel it in the family jewels if you're not careful about the way you get your body situated. Just kind of going around. Here's our garden, guys. And we'll just take this kind of easy because that's pretty dang steep there actually. This is where you can't go uphill from power. You have to pedal too. As you can see, we're just cruising along, folks. And this thing does it well. So just kind of cruising along next to the mulberry tree here. There's a plum tree, got to get that one pruned, it's right in my face. Japanese beetle trap, in case you guys are wondering what that was. And then up here, where we had our power buried, and we'll take you right across and then down the hill. Oh yeah. There it is, guys. Probably not thinking about this as an off-road bike, but I'm gonna tell you this, it does it well. And that's why I have it. Whoa, that is fun. Just cruising along, guys. Really, really fun. Woo! Little technical spot here, don't want to crash. Headlight comes in handy in these environments. Kind of gets stalled out a little bit there, but anything that's too substantial. Another 30-foot fall there off to my right. We'll just take this a little bit quicker. Oh yeah, buddy. Getting her done. And now we'll go up this hill. And we'll just try to keep it kind of tame. I'd like to take a left, but I'm not gonna do that because I'll stall out there probably. So let's go this way again. But as you can see, just cruising along, going over 20 miles an hour for a brief burst. Then just cutting around here. So as you can see, it's just a real blast to drive this thing. It keeps you moving. You don't have to worry about getting hot. Because if you're worried about getting hot, you're not going fast enough. Okay. And then we'll go ahead and take this turn back onto the runway. So as you can see, back on the runway. We'll check the angle of the camera. Okay. So there you have it, folks. Just about as much fun as you can have with your clothes on. And I really, really like this bike. I do notice a little bit of a disparity on the speed compared to our GPS app. So we'll have to kind of double check that against another bike or two. But it's saying we've put just under 7 miles on this so far. And I really enjoy this one. It's a fun bicycle, e-bike. And I think you guys will like it too. If you decide to get one, make sure you follow it from the links in the video description below. Help support Brian Phillips RC and all those little moves. It all adds up, folks. All right, well, hopefully we've answered your questions. Thanks a lot for watching. Stay tuned for the unbox next. We forgot to mention something in our video, so you're seeing this at the very end. I'm gonna show you how to get into the programming menu. So you're gonna press up the plus and minus at the same time while it's powered on, and then it says P0. You type in the password with the plus, advanced character with power, change it to, you're gonna do 1212, okay? And then you press power to enter. So now you're in P1, plus and minus moves you through the menus, and it'll just keep looping. And if you look really close, and if you move up and down with plus and minus, sorry, we had the sun kind of get in front of us. What you're looking for is 48 volts is the what we're set at. 23-inch wheels, which I believe is why there's a disparity in GPS reading and speed reading here. So like when you saw in the video, over here on the phone mount, you had my phone with the GPS readings. It was hard for you guys to see, but there was sometimes a disparity. It eventually caught up with a long enough sample time. This is 63. If you change that down, so what you do is you'd press power, and then that advances into the setting. You can use minus or plus to move up and down, but if you move down from this, it stays down. And the only way to fix it back to that, to 63, the max, would be to actually do a reset. So hit power to acknowledge your entry, and then you can move past. I don't know what P4 is. I'd like somebody to tell us in the comments. I don't know what P5 is. I don't know what P6 is. I don't know what P7 is. And so those are the ones that we don't know. So hopefully that answers your questions on this YYG
BR100.
BR100. It's a great bike. I've been riding it around now. Oh, and then to exit the menu, I press and hold power, and then it exits out to just your ordinary mode, okay? I'm hoping that 5, 6, or 7 will change this from 0 through 5 to like 1 through 3 or 1 through 5 because I don't like it being out of pedal assist totally. When I first power it on, I want it to have something there. I usually do 0 through 3 for my e-bikes because I always go to the top setting, and I want to be able to store what setting it's going to power onto, which would normally be power mode. I don't know if that's an option. And so also, if you ever want to reset so you can get that 63 miles per hour, kilometers per hour max, I think that's in kilometers per hour. I believe you press and hold power and up, and it says default, no. Change it to yes with minus, and then acknowledge with this keystroke, okay? Then that'll put you back. So if you ever really screwed up, you can do that, and it'll set you back to the defaults for this bike. So hopefully that answers your questions, and that's why you're here on Brian Phillips RC. We know that there's a million different places you get information on these e-bikes. I'm gonna tell you right now, I like this bike a lot. It's really fun to ride. I have found it to be pretty comfortable on everything except for when you hit a bump. It hits you in the family jewels worse than other bikes of similar size. So, and it's just the way that you sit on the bike. Also in the rain, I just drove it in light rain this morning, and I did get sprayed on my backside a little bit. So this did not completely protect me from the light rain. So that was the only thing I was gonna point out. It mostly protects you, but it doesn't totally. And so if this was extended just a little bit, belled out, it would help, and it would make a big difference. So if you know you have to ride and you're dressed nice and you don't want to get something on your back, and it was mostly on my butt, it wasn't all the way up my back. So you may slide forward on the seat, and that'll help some with that. Because if you're tall and you sit way back here, then you're going to get sprayed in the backside more. Okay, if you slide forward knowing that you're hitting a puddle or something like that, then you'll mitigate some of that. So hopefully we answered a lot of your questions on this YYG BR100. It's a great bike. I enjoy it very much. I didn't think I would. I thought it was going to be a bad fit for my frame size, but it actually worked out really good. And so far, it's going to be my go-to bike because the brakes are the best. And if you guys want to help support Brian Phillips RC and what we do here on this channel, check out the links in the video description below when you decide to buy something. We never want to talk you into something you don't want. So if you don't like this, we have other e-bikes and e-scooters that we have reviewed in the past. And you can check it out on brianphillipsrc.com if you don't want to search through the playlist, which is plethora of videos. I mean, thousands and thousands and thousands of videos. So if you go there, you can search by brand. You can search by type. So
there's a ride-on e-bike category.
So if you go to the ride-on e-bike category, you can see all the different stuff we've done. And that's a great way, a great resource for you. So we appreciate you watching. Stay tuned, so much more from Brian Phillips RC. YouTube, it's Brian Phillips. I'm ready for the operation. Right here. You've been asking for it, and so we got another one. It's another e-bike. Yes, that's right. We evidently do e-bikes a lot now here on Brian Phillips RC. We promise we won't keep doing them forever because our garage will eventually run out of room, much like our basement has run out of room for airplanes.
That hasn't stopped us from doing airplanes.
Well, you do have a point there, camera crew. That being said, we can't quite build our building because we have to build the pond first. And once we build the building, then we'll have more room for more airplanes. So there's no airplane relief until the pond's done.
The e-bikes can go in there too, can't they?
Yes, sort of.
Sorry, people.
So anyway, guys, if you're waiting for the next airplane, don't you worry, it's coming right around the corner. In fact, we already have several in line, ready to publish for you. So thank you for bearing with us through some of these different items. At least it's not a leaf blower.
Still like the leaf blower.
We love the leaf blower. We actually use that stupid leaf blower.
All the
like
time.
Almost every day I use that leaf blower.
Yeah.
I even use the leaf blower to clean our house.
We do. Our oldest uses it. He can reach it. It's light enough for him.
Yeah, we should do a second
people are
thoughts.
missing
If
out.
we did a second thoughts on that, do you think people would
If you didn't
revolt?
buy a leaf blower, you missed out, people.
So guys, we're getting into this box. We're just gonna open this thing up right now. We kind of do these e-bikes with sort of a specific level of expectation of failure. And yeah, because even though we look at the pictures, we're like, yeah, I don't know. That model looks like she weighs about 60 pounds.
Well, okay, that's true.
And I'm like 300 pounds. So really, if you guys want to see the no BS truth of the story, come to Brian Phillips RC.
Yeah, that's true.
Where the fat guys work. We got some pedals. We got some tools. What the frick is that thing? Okay, we got that thing.
Okay.
Looks like a seat adapter.
Yeah.
And then this must be the charger. And there is the YYG or YYG e-bike user manual. So it looks like a scooter. So we're just gonna keep cooking. This must be the charger. We have been super surprised by how much we love certain e-bikes and how much we hate other ones. Sometimes the specs lie, guys.
Yeah.
I know you'll find that hard to believe that the Chinese would lie and exaggerate, but they do. I know, it's crazy.
That looks like a nice charger, actually.
That being said, here's two things to look at if you're looking for a bike that will fit your large adult American body. You wanna make sure you get enough voltage, you wanna make sure you get enough size, and you wanna make sure you get enough height. If you want small wheels are something you need to consider, could actually make your ride pretty bad, okay? Also, when you see a big old charger like this, that's usually a good sign. It's got a singular light. Okay, got a mic jack plug. We have that on a couple of our bikes.
Mm-hmm.
So this is 54.6 volts at 3 amps, as you can see here. Mm-hmm. As you can tell, it's gonna be a robust charger. It's heavy too. I know you guys can't see that in your view, but we'll have this ready to rock and roll. We always like to start with accessories if we can. And we've actually gotten a lot better at opening these things up, and we still suck pretty bad. So we're just gonna keep working. Very, very nice packaging on this bike. I gotta say, the last one we did was like super lacking on packaging, I thought. And this one has tons of this stuff. It's like the really thick foam that's squishy.
That we have to keep.
Well, I mean, just until I come up with some
screwdriver out of
amazing use. That's actually what we did last time.
I know.
Okay. Okay. Get this. What is that?
What is that?
Looks like some sort of a apparatus to go on top of the seats or something, maybe. I know you're gonna find it super lame, guys, but I try to reuse some of this packaging. My camera crew just made fun of me again, but that's okay because we have a lot of it. I mean, like a lot, a lot of it. You wouldn't believe how much packaging we generate. And so we do try to be somewhat responsible with the amount of stuff. Oh, that's the headlight. Awesome.
Holy. Oh my goodness.
It's huge. I love it. That's
cool.
Really nice. And I love the fact that it just has a single plug. Okay.
Lights on e-bikes are like a must for us.
Yes, that's right. Because we find ourselves riding our e-bikes at night. Almost exclusively at night. Not always, but mostly. We go out and ride at night.
The kids ride during the day a lot, but then Brian gets home, we do a video, we do whatever, and then it's like dusk, we're past flying time, and then everybody gets their bikes out and rides.
And we ride, and we have a good old time.
Till dinner.
So that looks really nice. You can see
that's cool.
The diodes inside.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's gonna be a ring that's lit up on the outside, and that's also a horn too, I think. So how many wires are there? Total of 5 wires. So you could run a horn and a light. Okay, now also just full disclosure, these are the tools that we brought to the equation. We'll try to stick to those, but you know how it is. Sometimes we get into them and we realize we need something like a tap or whatever.
Hopefully not.
Pedals. Kind of some oil on there. We might want to grab a paper towel, camera crew, while I'm opening this other bag. These are some of the nicest tools we've seen.
Yeah.
They're like actually a chrome finish on there. Okay. Oh, in case you didn't already have a Phillips screwdriver.
That's kind of cool.
Okay, 8 millimeters and 10 millimeters. 15 and 13 millimeters here. Okay, so that's good. Okay. We always get different tools with every single bike, and it's nice that we get most of the tools. So if you are coming to the table with nothing, you can usually get the job done, but I must say you need to be careful about how the handlebars mount and things like that.
Is there another loose piece down there by your
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out the best. Ooh, yeah. Looks like a wheel fairing. Or like a, fender, not a fairing. It's not an airplane.
Hey, and those pedals are labeled, so we'll need to remember that.
What, left and right?
Left and right.
Oh, really?
Sometimes they're not, which is kind of confusing.
Okay, so we're gonna pop this out. So part of what we do here on this channel is we do unbox, build radio setup for the airplanes we do. And so we're like, why would we not do that for the more advanced stuff? Now, about the only thing we don't unbox, build radio setup is just basic RC cars. Because we got to the conclusion, we've come to the conclusion that they're all so dang similar that it's like, it's literally just, they're exactly the same.
Yeah.
And so with airplanes, there's a lot of different radio setup that goes into it. With the bikes, that's metal.
Yeah.
That I like a lot, that it's actually steel and heavy duty.
I like that color.
We do not usually get that, by the way. E-bikes, even the nice e-bikes, the multi-$1,000 e-bikes, they still have plastic mud guards.
Yeah.
Yep, so that's really exciting. Okay, so this is mounted, so that's the seat, and it's got a huge seat. That tire is definitely attached to the frame, so we're probably gonna have to drop the sides for the rest. Now, this is gonna be the trick of the day, guys, where you say, oh, it was worth watching that stupid video that Brian made. And this is something we've learned. First of all, cut the straps, or take the straps off, and then I'm gonna cut down the seam from the outside, paying special attention not to go too deep, so as cutting into the product, okay? So once you do that, you open up the box to the extent you can lay the sides down, and it does work really nice. It's not like the only possible way you could do it, but we found that it works really nice.
Lifting them up and out of the boxes
is very
kind
difficult.
Of impractical.
Yeah, even with a second set of hands, guys, you're gonna find it's really challenging to do that.
Yeah, and I'm not really a second set of hands when we're filming this.
Yeah, normally my wife, Megan, the camera crew, is really good at helping me with stuff like this. But it does kind of suck when we film because I lose my helper.
Yeah.
And I mean, Megan is good enough at building this stuff. She could do it without me, but I think I'm gonna sit down. It'll be easier this time.
Okay.
Oh, this thing is so heavy. You guys don't see us getting it up the 3 steps to get in the front door. But our poor FedEx chick, oh my goodness. She has to work her tail off.
Yeah, it's about all my son and I can do to get the boxes in the house before Brian gets home.
And then we tried to do the bikes like right away because they take up so much room.
This one did have really nice heavy duty cardboard with handles on the end.
Yes.
Sometimes you use the handle and the whole thing just like falls apart.
Yep, that's right. And just be wary of the staples. You do need to be careful. Sometimes the staples are not as collapsed as you might think, and you can cut yourself. So if you're doing it in bare feet like we do.
Or on your dining room floor. Yeah,
seriously be careful. Other than that, they're pretty easy to put together. It's just more like a tedious aspect than anything.
Yep.
So I'm just diving the blade in and following up the seam. Okay, now if this falls over, then you guys can point and laugh. Okay. I'm just gonna do the same thing over here. And as with any other utility knife steps you're doing, just make sure you try to use a new blade every once in a while. Because I try to use them forever and it makes life difficult and it's a lot more dangerous that way. Okay, very good.
Okay.
All right, so you can see how much package. Show them how much it's packed.
Wow.
This thing is packed in really nice. It's probably the nicest packaging we've seen yet. And we've seen quite a few. And then these reinforcements are super nice to see. What that does is that stops, it stops the seat from going through the side. And that's actually
like plexiglass.
Plexiglass, so we'll keep that actually for sure.
This is one of the first bikes that has not had massive, like complete holes on the side where stuff is poked through.
Yeah, so they obviously picked reinforcements in the right spots.
Yep.
So that's very nice. I mean, it's not like, hey, it's just the shipping, Brian, who cares? Trust me, if the shipping isn't good, guys, you're not gonna get your bike, okay? Because you gotta remember, it's not just coming from California or New York or, you know, Chicago or something like that. It's coming from China, make no mistake. Okay, they might be making some of the advertising in the States, but they're not doing all the work in the States. If they were, they'd be a lot more expensive. Okay, so just cut these things apart using special care so you don't damage your finish on all your product. All right, so that wheel, you're gonna notice something right away. I was talking about 20-inch wheels earlier. Mm-hmm. I have kind of a rule about wheels, and that is I don't get anything below 26-inch. So obviously this one, I'm breaking my own rules because it's a different style of bike.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if this was a regular bike, that's a 20x4, okay? I would need a 26x4 to make me not look like a giant, okay? So, and this Chow Yang.
We've seen that.
We've seen that on like virtually every fat tire.
Yeah.
So that's pretty good. It feels nice. It's nice and light. It's got a spoke design as opposed to an aluminum design in the center. Everything looks nice and machined. Disc brakes, of course. Okay.
And if you're getting a bike for your kids, like teenage kids, or if you're, you know, 5'2", 5'3", the 20-inch is fine.
Yeah, it's just when you get taller, it makes you look like a giant.
Yeah.
And the other thing too is, with a bigger wheel comes generally a better ride. Okay.
Are you just untaping?
Yeah, I'm just trying to cut stuff free.
Okay.
Sometimes stuff cuts easy, sometimes it doesn't. And I'm always nervous about this because you never know exactly what part's gonna wanna start falling down first.
Yeah.
So we like to keep the foam in place as long as possible. And that stuff is really nice. High quality foam, guys. Could see a lot of screwdriver holders from this bike.
Great. The cat is curious.
Stay back, cat.
Yeah,
Get out of here. No, not the other side, moron.
He's our smartest cat.
He's actually not.
Not
He would
even
be the
close.
dumbest one by far. Ash is our boy, and he is the nicest of the cats we have,
Yes.
which is part of the reason why he is the least deadly. Although he does still kill stuff once in a while. All right, so how are we gonna do this?
Just
Usually this is about the time where I have to start thinking. It looks like it's
handlebars are
favored
over
that
here.
direction. Handlebars are mounted to the side.
Yep.
Okay, so we'll start there, you think?
Yeah. I'll just kind of stand back here.
Yeah, just
in case
spot
I
it.
need to spot you. Ooh.
All right, so I gotta cut this to relieve the handlebar pressure. And then cut this to relieve the rest of the handlebar pressure. Okay? And these are like truly packaging feats, folks. Okay? Oh, a piece of tape got on there. That's like the first piece of tape I've seen on this bike so far. That actually touched it. What the heck? I think it goes like this. Yeah, it goes like that.
Okay.
Because there's an upside on the plastic, and I'll show you what I'm talking about here in a sec. Really, really nice black on black finish.
Yeah.
So you can see right here, what I was looking at is this instructions. They're gonna help me to indicate which side's up. Okay. And then this is where the headlight's gonna plug in. Mm-hmm. Nice big robust multi-connector connection. This stuff is so nice because if you ever have a problem, all you have to do to undo your wiring is just untie this, okay? And then all the slack gets tied up and it just makes for a really clean install. And yes, we have had to tear apart some of our e-bikes and fix stuff, okay? So I'm just gonna put this here, camera crew, if you can hold that so it doesn't tip. Yep. That'd be great, thank you. Is it falling?
No, I got it with my arm now.
Okay, so I grabbed all of the wrenches. And this is kind of like the awkward part because you can't quite get the front wheel attached very easy yet. So we usually kind of try to start here if we can. Did you move it?
Well, it was falling.
Okay, so maybe just straddle the back wheel like normal.
Okay.
Okay, let go. So I'm gonna pull these 4 screws out. And see there's a loose washer, a lock washer on there. Nope, that's just a washer. just a compression washer. I don't know why they even have a washer on there. Can you hold that, please, so it doesn't rock back and forth? If it rocks back and forth, it's gonna damage the finish. So try to avoid letting it rock. Okay, so you see what I'm talking about? How it's like separating? Mm-hmm. Okay. A lot of times those are kept on by a little bump on the actual screw. Okay. Okay, now let go.
Okay.
So now I'm gonna put this through, then line this back up, start the first one. Should we demonstrate the fly shooter? There's one right there.
Oh.
Show them the victim. Okay, you stay there.
Okay. I can't go anywhere.
If you didn't think we were big enough nerds, you just wait, folks. I'm gonna kill that thing. Oh yeah! She's done. By the way, if you've never seen the bug assault,
it's injured.
Double tap.
There you go.
Triple tap. The bug assault.
You need one of those things.
If you don't have one of these, you don't know how to live yet, because it is regular table salt that will kill your flies. And actually, it's not dead, it's just stunned.
Yeah. But
and disappointed to be alive because it can no longer fly. And by the way, if you're gonna get on and defend flies, bye. See you later.
Hopefully nobody will do that.
But seriously though, that is like one of the best tools you're ever gonna hear about on Brian Phillips RC. And it's got absolutely nothing to do with what we do here on this channel. Okay, so see this crosshair thing? I'm kind of lining that up in the center there. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's where I'm starting. Sorry, fly. You had to give up your life just to be annoying and eat literal manure.
It works on like wasps and stuff too, because we've gotten wasps in the house.
Yeah. And the thing that's nice is like that window over there, it's over the top of our stairway.
Yes.
And it doesn't look like much, but there's like a 14-foot drop below it.
Kind of a ways.
So it's like, you know, you can't just walk out there and smack them with a fly swatter.
Yeah.
And so we got that thing and we thought this is the biggest gimmick ever. It's not gonna work. It's gonna be so dumb. And we got it mostly as a gag gift.
No, I got it for you for Christmas and you rolled your eyes a lot.
Yeah, but it was
and now
awesome.
We use it all the time.
It's awesome and we use it all the time. And so I want more of them because I wanna have them in within arm's grip everywhere. So anyway, guys, if you're a fly, then don't come to our house. It'll be the last time you go anywhere. All right, so here we go. So we'll tighten these down real quick. Now, I don't know the exact position I want these in, but let's just say I'm just trying to get the crosshairs centered.
For a starting point?
Yeah, for a starting point.
Okay.
And I think it's probably gonna be pretty close if we center that thing in the middle of the opening. It's gotta be pretty close. Now, this is where I've had one bike give me problems, and it was before we maidened the bike. I had it slip on me, and it's because I didn't torque it down enough. So you better get in there and torque the freaking living heck out of it, guys. Because if you're gonna try to use the factory provided tools, it's just not gonna do it. So I like to use a crescent wrench, okay? And really torque the crap out of these things. Now you can get a torque wrench, and I have a micro torque wrench that will go down to the 5 Newton meters. And yes, you can do inch pounds or feet pounds of torque by just using a Google Translate or Google Math. But the reality is I don't ever get that tool out unless I'm putting on a prop on my paraglider where my literal life and limb depends on it. Yes, I guess technically life and limb depends on this too, but on a much lower, lower point. And the thing is that prop on my paraglider, it's made of foam and then it's covered in carbon fiber. It's quite expensive and it's big and it goes 8,400 RPMs, like 16 inches from my face. So
kind of want that one to be right.
Yeah, life or death, right? This is just kind of like life or scratches. Do I have a scar?
Yeah, your arm still.
So anyway, guys, you never saw that on camera, but the truth is that happened on one of our bikes because I I don't know. I don't know if I tightened it enough or if the tool just didn't have enough to it. That's about as tight as I can get it before it'll break that in half, okay? So that's gonna be nice and sturdy.
Okay.
Okay. I like the light on off button. That's very nice. Okay, so continuing on, we also have a reflector here, which appears to be built into the actual device, which is kind of strange. I don't know if I need to like loosen that and move it over to the center now that we're done. I think I do. Yeah, same size. Allen key. So folks, if you're new to Brian Phillips RC and you're probably thinking to yourself, what the heck kind of RC is this? This isn't an RC, it's just an electric bike. Yes, very intuitive of you. We also do e-bikes, and we do some other different agricultural related things that have to do with taking care of our property here, because we do have a large piece of property, and that's how we film a lot of our footage. So we share a little bit about that too from time to time, and people sometimes give us flack about it, but to be honest with you, this is just a lifestyle channel at the end of the day. And while we do love fixed wing aircraft, helicopters, quads, and that sort of thing, that's not all we ever do. And so we just try not to give this a front and center stage. So you'll find these videos on Sunday afternoons, or, you know, maybe like on Wednesday. We used to do a Surface Wednesday every Wednesday, and we've just not had enough content to fill that slot. And so we've gotten away from it largely at this point, because it's the middle of summer and it's the flying season. I don't know, is that supposed to be there? I just feel like that's kind of a weird spot for a reflector. It's kind of getting blocked by everything.
I wonder, like, if you're not going to use the headlight, just so that you have something on the front. So I guess I probably wouldn't make it.
How about I do this and then I'll spin it? I'll tighten it down and then I'll rotate it.
Okay.
Because it can rotate, right? Because this gets thicker as you go down here. Or is it supposed to just come off and move? I don't know. I'm honestly not sure. I'm just afraid that taper is going to mean it's going to slip eventually.
Maybe that's why they sent that thing that said instructions.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. Never heard of such a thing. There's one weird Phillips screwdriver, although I like it. It's weird. I actually really like it. It's strangely nice. Because you can get into a weird spot with it. Okay. Now I am going to my provided tool, my own provided tool here, this crescent wrench. Just loosening this bite here on the back of the reflector. See if I can get that squared up with the world around it. Oh, it's got two dots that keep it centered there. Ooh, crappers. Well, my plan is sort of falling apart, so we'll just tighten this back up and leave it where it is until we get some better instructions, if there are instructions later on.
Okay.
So guys, what I was getting at is if you are new to the hobby, RC, and you want some help, you're in the right place. We like to do these unbox build radio setups because people need help, and what this does for us is it gives us an outlet to help teach people on what to expect when they get their box. They get it opened, and then they're like, oh crap, what next?
Yeah.
And believe it or not, if you're the first person that's saying, well, I can't be the only guy who's confused by these instructions. Yeah, we're with you. We're with you, because we're usually confused with them as well. Mostly because we don't read them. But that's right, if you want to buck the system and not read instructions, you can just watch the instructions on Brian Phillips RC. They are technically not instructions though, it's a video. So for all you men out there, it doesn't technically count, no. You are not watching the instructions.
So men can watch videos about how to do something.
Yes.
As long as they don't read.
Exactly. It's not instructions.
Okay, got it.
If you read it in, well, and see, some of the stuff we have to do interpreting through Google.
Yes.
First. Okay. All right, so now we have to probably put the front wheel on, I'm guessing, before we go any further. And that'll make it a heck of a lot easier to hold this thing. Don't you think?
Kickstand.
I don't know. Okay. Is it over there? Is there a kickstand?
I don't know. There's pedals.
I don't want to hit my knee on this thing, so I'm going to pull this more plexiglass we got here.
Okay.
Oh, is it here? I don't think it's mounted, hun.
Oh, okay, that would make sense then. Ooh.
Yeah, whatever that is, it's not mounted. All right. So we're gonna open this up next. See what we got here. And see, you've got a huge counter here and it's full of stuff now. That's what happens when we're doing these unboxes. So we'll be right back. All right, guys, so we have to flip this thing upside down. I did admittedly take that out of the packaging off camera, sorry. I was just cleaning up and cooling off for a second, and then I realized we gotta flip this thing upside down. So I'm gonna grab my brakes, this one in particular, the rear brake. Then I can walk it up. I grabbed 2 blocks out of my stack of extra blocks. I'm just gonna turn this thing around. We did take all but one piece of this cardboard off the floor too. I'm just gonna spin it around. And then while holding the brake, I'm gonna bring this back down so it can kind of get upside down, okay? Once it's like that, you can sort of control it by the yoke or another way. And then I wanna take this off so it's out of my way. I'm gonna see if I can, that's a brace, so be careful. That one might not hold as much as you think, okay? And I'm just gonna slowly and carefully lower it down onto these foam blocks, okay, guys? Now, if you have a bike stand, you can just do this on a bike stand, but we don't have a bike stand because we don't have enough bikes. Whoa, that thing just came out like I was afraid it might. Okay. Okay, so on the handlebar. Okay, so there you go. So that wasn't too bad. We probably built it up in our heads to be worse than it really was gonna be. And to be honest, what you guys don't know is we had another bike that I worked on the other day, and we ended up having it fall and it broke a bunch of stuff on it. I was super annoyed. All right, so that's that. Now the next step is continuing to unpackage everything. So this is where it gets down to just the nitty gritty. Just start undoing stuff one thing at a time. And we might come back when we're done uncutting zip ties because that's all I'm doing. Okay, so they had a pump included in here, which is kind of cool. So this will be handy if needed. And there's a beautiful saddlebag in the middle there, which I thought was totally cool. Obviously, we never did install the kickstand, but what I prefer to do is get the wheel on, and that's what this thing is for. If you want to look at the instructions with us, we'll just take a quick look. There's 2 springs. It is not the most intuitive design I've ever seen in my life. So the spring points in, okay? All right, so then on these tires, when they're shipped, they always put these covers on the end. Something like that. Okay, something like this. And then this is allowed to pass through, evidently. So grab the shaft and unscrew this. Now I think that's just gonna drop straight in so we can actually have the shaft installed first, I think, okay? It's just gonna go like that, and it just passes through, okay? Now I don't know which side that's supposed to be on now that I sit and think about it. Crap, I can't quite tell. No, I think I have it right. Okay, so let's just say this is right. Then that's where that goes, I guess. All right, so the brake caliper is over on the far side from where I'm standing right now. So let's carry this over. Of course, this is a quick release tire, which is really nice. So I'm just gonna lift this out. Okay, so that's just a spacer, and that can just be set aside and discarded later. Oh, and then this is a brake saver. Nice discs, kind of colorful, which is cool. Go between your discs and then drop this down, walking this back as far as it needs to go. And I don't know if we're gonna have enough threads left. Yep, it looks like it is gonna have enough threads left. So then this should just drop down in there. I hope, maybe. Okay, so this is gonna drop down in there, maybe, is the key. It's not gonna drop down in there that I can see. It just doesn't wanna fall. There it goes. Okay, so now it's down in there. I just took the whole thing out. We'll put that in, and then we'll put this on the other side, okay? So we just screw that in. Okay, then once we get it to a point where we're satisfied, we'll go ahead and get it mostly tight, and then I should be able to just tighten this down like that. Okay, pretty sweet. That was about the easiest assembly of a front tire we've had yet.
It was pretty easy, actually.
Even with that difficulty, it was still really easy. And there is a screw here. I'm not sure what that's for. Is that where something's supposed to go there?
There's one on both sides.
That's gonna hold the mud flap, the front mud flap, mud guard.
I did not see that in the instructions anywhere.
Okay, well, let's see if we can figure it out. Does it go on the back side or the front side? It looks like it goes, looks like it goes on the front.
It goes...
Wait, no, it goes here. It goes here. It's gotta.
Yeah, towards the rider, like that.
Except this passes through like that, because then this comes out. Oh, there's a nylock on it? Are you kidding me? Who designed that?
Where does the headlight attach? Up higher. Right.
Does it?
You're
asking me like I know. I don't know.
I think it goes up here on like this part of the bracket. So not there.
Why don't you look at the manual with the people at home while I get this screw undone? And just let me know what you find out.
Okay.
I'm just undoing this screw here, folks. And this is a nylock, so I have to actually brace the back side of it to do it.
Yeah, the headlight goes...
Well, we'll wait till we flip it over to mount that, right?
Yeah.
I just figured this is gonna be easier from down here.
They have it in the same step, but then they don't talk about it. These instructions are definitely not the worst bike instructions I've seen. We've seen way worse.
Yeah, some instructions are like this picture.
Yeah, these are like color, actual pictures of the product, fairly close up. The video probably will be more helpful. So you took that whole thing off.
Look, washer, washer, or washer, washer, lock nut, and then bolts.
Okay.
So I have to assume this is gonna be like every other one we've ever put on, which is gonna go something like this, and then something like that. Washer and nylock goes on the other side.
Wait, or this has to be able to flip up to get to these screws, right?
Yeah. Are you saying it won't?
I don't think so.
Well, what are you saying?
Or where are the arms?
Oh crap, did we have to do that before we put the tire on?
The fender thingy is not anywhere in the instructions.
Yeah.
So you're on your own on that one.
On our own, okay. Well, not the first time. Okay, all right, good enough. Let's just keep going then.
Okay.
All right, back to our regularly scheduled program, which is guesswork. That doesn't feel like it's gonna wrap around the wheel. Like the tire and wheel are too thick. Doesn't it seem like that to you? Well, it's gonna get stretched out when we put them onto those bolts.
Yeah.
Right?
I believe so.
Okay. I'm not a big fan of nylocks, folks. I far prefer have a lock washer and a regular nut or two nuts for a jam nut, because nylocks are such a pain to drive when you're in weird circumstances like this, tight spots like that. Okay, and then up here, of course, what do? They use a lock washer. It's like if you're already using lock washers, why not just use one more? And then they use a lock washer onto a mating surface that is a spring. China, sometimes you baffle me with your engineering prowess while on the same exact item, you do stupid crap like that. So what we're gonna do next is we're going to take this lock washer, put it through, and then pass this hopefully onto alignment here. And it's not feeling very good at all. It's feeling like it's misaligned badly, but I'm not sure yet if I've got it wrong. Almost feels like maybe you're supposed to bolt that to the other side or something. Well, let's see if we can get it to go. If it goes, then there's a good chance it's the only way it's going to go. If it looks right, it's probably the only way it's gonna go. But I just can't tell. It looks like it's gonna barely let that tire clear is what it looks like. Right? Now it's gonna spread that Y out. Oh boy.
Do you like having the hardware all installed where it's supposed to be?
Yeah.
You don't have to guess where it's...
Yeah, I mean, that's nice. That's helpful. True. Rather than having a nut and bolt sack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And unclear directions on what nut goes where.
Yeah, that's definitely a nice thing. I'm just still not sure if this... I'm almost thinking that this should have been on the backside. Because if you look at the face of this, that's not flat. You know what would make it flat?
If that was further back.
Yep, and then look here. The tire's gonna bind, or it's gonna be really dang close to it.
Yeah.
So yeah, this needs to go to the backside. It's gonna look better. Okay, so since we made a mistake, we'll pause, redo it, and come right back. Okay, so as you can see, I flipped this so it's mounted in the backside. Looks a lot nicer and works, okay? Then these get to where they're just in a better angle. And also you can see the gap around the tire from the mud guard appears to be correct. So you can see the gap is more similar. Before it was practically biting the front. And so obviously that would be a no-go on a bicycle. So we're gonna torque these things down and we'll come right back. All right guys, so what you can see here is look what happened to those lock washers. They mushroomed. They mushroomed all the way out to the extent that I'm now bottomed out.
So not very...
Do you remember how like 30
walking.
seconds ago I said something about they should really have a washer in there? Because there's no bearing surface.
Right.
Yeah, well, I did say it. I hope I did at least. I was thinking it.
You did.
So what's gonna happen, guys? I'm gonna see if I can get lucky this time. You see how it's up under there? I can't guarantee it's not gonna walk up. In fact, I can guarantee it's probably going to get enough purchase here in a second that it's not gonna let me do any more. Oops. So if you guys have your own bicycle tools, you'll wanna try to probably have those ready. You're gonna have an easier time than using the provided Chinese tools. They're actually not terrible quality, but they're just not, they're not gonna be as nice as your average bicycle toolkit. That being said, I don't have a big problem with them providing a handful of basic tools. I think it's nice for the people that maybe aren't doing this every day. And obviously I'm not doing it every day, so I appreciate it from a personal perspective. My only big issue is if you're gonna provide a tool that's supposed to apply a certain torque level, then you're gonna have to get a creative solution on how to provide that torque has been met. And there is an easy way to do that. And that is to apply a procedural step. So you need to apply 1/8 of a turn with the provided plastic tool that goes on as a cheater. If you get 1/8 of a turn and that's all you can get, then you're in good shape. But they don't ever talk about that. That would be too Chinese. So anyway, we'll find out. But truth is, this seems like it's a pretty nice bike. It's come together really, really beautiful. I love that leather pouch in there. And is that real leather?
I don't know. I can't imagine.
Kind of looks like it's real leather, but who knows? It's probably pleather.
Probably. It looks really nice though.
Yeah. I wonder if it's gonna be like hot, because there is a buckle on it. And there's like a buckle, but the buckle is just decorative.
Yeah, I think there's a snap. It snaps open and closed.
Oh, cool.
And then there's Velcro. You can take it off if you want to take it off.
Did you show them the twisted metal on where the battery would normally go? By the spoke there for you?
Oh, cool.
Show them that detail.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
There's some really neat like design elements on this bike.
Yeah, that was actually what caught our eye about this bike, is just the fact that it's kind of a different look. And we actually, you know, it wasn't anything crazy, you know, spec-wise that we saw. And what we've learned is that a lot of these Chinese manufacturers will put out specs that are like, you know, almost identical. You're gonna find your 1,000-watt bikes all over the place. You're gonna find your fat tires all over the place. But then what happens is you'll find one additional feature set that, you know, sort of helps to tip the scales in their favor. But then they just sort of like drop right back off to normal. And what I've been looking for is a bicycle that's gonna give us 2-wheel drive, you know, 1,000 watts on each minimum. I'd really like to have more like 1,500 watts front and back. And what that does for me is, as with the airplanes, radio controlled airplanes, power saves lives. And in my case, when I'm trying to go uphill and it's hot out like it is now, power saves lives. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
Okay, so, all right, next thing we gotta do is some pedals. Let's do some pedals.
Okay.
I don't know if you guys saw how I set this up. I got 2 chairs set up on either side. It's really easy to do this, and most people can do that. So I would suggest you do that, and the cam crew is gonna help me get the correct driver, or actually, I think I need one of the open end wrenches here.
That's the right side, so do you have the right pedal?
I have no idea.
Nope, you have the left.
Really?
Yes. There's a little sticker on them. And then this one over here says left pedal, and then it has an arrow to tighten.
Yep. Yep.
And then right should be clockwise.
Clockwise. I can't tell if it's going or not. Now it feels like it's going. Okay. Oh, I thought maybe it was broken. Nope. It's not broken. Okay, so.
You need one of these box end wrenches.
Yeah, one of those wrenches.
Okay.
Probably the bigger one. Biggest one, okay. So now for you guys at home watching, thinking this looks like a pretty easy assembly, I could totally do that. And I really like the look of the bike. Well, if you decide you want to buy one of these things, just buy it from the link in the video description below. All you do is you follow the link, it takes you to the website. You got the full suite of choices. You've got all the regular coupon capabilities, all that stuff. And the only thing that changes is that they know you came from our video. And so we make small commissions to help fund our channel. And so that's the best thing you can do to help support us. If you're watching this video right now and thinking, I kind of like that bike, I want to give Brian a pat on the back for sweating it out in front of the camera. And truth is, we do this stuff all the time, and we really, largely we enjoy doing it. The bike builds are kind of a pain, to be honest.
Okay.
I'd rather just do the bike build myself because it's so easy, but then I wouldn't have to sweat on camera a bunch.
I'd have to help more.
Yeah, which would be nice for me. But the thing is, guys, at the end of the day, if you want to help support us, that's what we ask. Just buy the stuff from the links. You don't have to send us money or any of that stuff. Although if you want to, we have Patreon, PayPal, all the different choices. Super thanks, members. And we would be happy to have you as one. In order of importance, I would say that PayPal Friends and Family is the most direct route. If you aren't gonna buy a bike, but you still wanna support us financially, super thanks. YouTube takes their cut like the mafia, a large cut I might add. And same thing with members on YouTube. They take their large cut. Patreon takes a large cut, but not quite as large as YouTube, about double as much as YouTube. And then PayPal donations kind of depends on where you are in the planet. depending on the currency exchange rates and what type of fees they're gonna charge. But friends and family are generally free, so. All right, cool, so that got the pedals taken care of.
We wanna do the kickstand before we flip it over?
Yeah, in fact, I'm on the right side already.
Are you?
I'll let you grab it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay,
so this kickstand's gonna be pretty easy. It's got 2 nylocks and it's just gonna go in through like that.
Oh, okay.
So pretty straightforward stuff.
Easy.
Looks like a high quality kickstand. Don't really have anything to be concerned about there except for the fact that it is nylocks and I'm not a big fan of nylocks. Nice welded surface to mate up with.
I really like this like matte gray, whatever this.
Yeah, it's cool. It's like a metallic gray.
It's cool.
It probably, online, it probably just looks gray. But the thing is, I bet it's gonna really pop outside in the sun.
Yeah.
I'm excited for it. And it is a relatively small bike. And that's something that we've been really struggling with lately, is just getting to the point where we can get all these different bikes into our garage. And so if you guys are new to the channel, you may not know this, but we've done tons of different e-bikes and we've done tons of airplanes. And we probably have about 2,000 square feet of this house filled with airplanes. And so we do a lot of them.
Yeah.
We've done thousands and thousands of videos. So if you're just stumbling into this on an e-bike and you're like, wow, I had no idea, Brian, that's okay. Welcome to the club.
Soon, your house too.
Yeah,
Can
exactly.
look like this with airplanes over there.
Yeah, this is just one room, guys.
There.
This is where we make it look nice. Downstairs, we have planes floor to ceiling. All the way up and down. And then we have closets full of planes. And then we have garage full of bikes and e-bikes and scooters. We love e-scooters too. I'll tell you what, e-scooters have just about ruined e-bikes for me.
Yeah.
Because they're pretty insane. But the thing is, I'm gonna say, when you go on a bike ride, it's nice to go on a bike ride. And the thing is, with our property, we have to get out to the fences and we have to get out to the machinery. And you know, if you have a problem with your, last year I was baling hay about this time of year. And we got all but like 3 bales done.
Yep.
And I lost a chain.
On our baler.
The master chain broke. And so I ran back to the house and back and forth I went about 6 times, gathering tools and gathering equipment and things like this. And next thing you know, it was fixed. But I'll tell you what, if I didn't have that bike, I'd been walking for acres.
Yeah, we use ours for actual like
yeah, we actually do things. Yeah, we do things with these bikes. We don't just take them on fun joy rides, although we do that a lot as well. Okay, get that spinning around. Now, I'm not 100% certain. Is that supposed to be on the inside or the outside? I think you could technically do it either way. I really don't know.
I do not think it said.
Well, why don't you look at the drawing quick just to be on the safe side. We'll come back, guys. All right, guys, so we're coming back. It is supposed to be on the outside, according to the drawings. Just gonna try to pass that through first. And just get it all the way in. Yeah, except it's threaded. How the heck am I gonna tighten that nylock? That is gonna be a real nightmare. Okay, so I'm gonna run that through just part of the way. Because what I'm gonna do, blow out the threads. Because normally if you have a machine thread through a tap like that, then as soon as you try to torque it down, it's gonna jam on itself. So that's kind of a weird setup. Okay, well, let's see how this goes. Oh, nice heavy duty kickstand though. We've noticed we've had some really nice kickstands on these bikes lately. There's been a few that have been so light duty that they break like almost instantly.
Yep.
But then the vast majority have gotten into this style where they're very, very heavy duty. And it's nice, because I remember as a kid, if you got a crappy kickstand, man, that made life miserable. That's right. Okay, so like I was saying, you do have to grab and tighten it like this, which is a real pain in the neck, but it is what it is. We'll come back when they're tight and show you. Of course, I'm going backward. All right, so we got it all torqued down here. So we basically have those both as tight as they can go. And that was actually a pretty easy process. Very heavy duty kickstand, goodness gracious. Okay, so we've got that closed up. So now, the only thing that's technically left on this bike is the headlight. So I think the easiest thing is we're gonna have to flip it back up on its main, on its wheels, and then get ready to mount this, because I just don't think it's practical to mount it this way. So the way I'm gonna flip it over and get it back to that, you'll see we left some of the foam on the seat just to protect it as we're building. I'm gonna reach down here and grab the wheels. So obviously I'm just gonna spin one to make sure I grab the right one. Nope, that's the right one. Okay, so I gotta grab that one. So we'll just grab that, flip it over, let it roll back, let it roll back. And there it is, guys. Wow, that is really cool.
That's really cool looking.
It's just such a different looking bike.
Yeah.
Like, we've seen a lot of bikes here, and this one is, it looks like a little motorcycle.
And that's, when it came through, I was like, oh, that's cool. Because it has a lot of the similar specs to what we usually look for on a bike, but it's just a different style than anything we've got.
Yeah, it's nice when you can get a bike that looks different. And it's got a huge seat.
Yeah. I know, I'm aware of your thoughts.
Show them the lock.
You ran into the vacuum. You confused her. The lock? Oh. Our robot is
vacuum
confused.
is so confused.
Brian
It's
hit it with the chair.
self-destruct mode
Doesn't
going.
know what to do now.
We move our dining room table to make room for this stuff. So
She'll figure it out.
all right. So the other thing I wanted to point out is, good Lord, those brakes are really nice, actually. They look so good, and they feel really, really solid.
Well,
I can't wait to ride this thing. It's gonna be so much fun. But I'm not gonna get distracted. We're gonna get this light on here, because until I get that light on, I'm not ready to ride it. So let's get that done.
Okay.
All right, guys, so in order to mount this light, I wanna look at the picture because I can't remember which side's up. It may be ambidextrous, but I don't know that for a fact. And so I'm just gonna err on the side of, I don't know. So let's figure it out.
Fix as shown.
Fix as shown.
Yep.
Okie dokie.
It's kind of hard to tell from the
I must say,
from the as shown.
for all the hardware that they've done on this bike, to just come through and put a regular bolt on there, just a little bit disappointing. Because this thing has got some pretty hardware on it. Okay, so there's a cable on the top side and cable. I think this is the top. It's just like a visor. Should provide some weather shield from that wire exit.
Okay.
Okay. So then, geez, more nylocks. Dang it. So this time, yeah, just probably the same too. That's fine. Just let go. I was gonna say.
Oh, sorry. Probably dropped it.
I just need the small one. That's all I needed. Okay. So this here it's got nylocks here too, right here. And so of course nylocks are a pain. I already mentioned this. So we'll undo these and come right back. Okay, so we have the nylock loose. We have the bolts undone, okay? And then what's gonna happen is that's gonna go around into this thing, okay? So because there's like 4 moving components all at the same time, this might be a little bit tricky, but you see what I'm talking about here? These things are triangular in shape, okay? And so they're gonna point wherever you want that headlight, that's where that's gonna go, okay? Hopefully that makes sense. So I'm thinking what's gonna happen is I have to undo this other side and we'll come right back.
Okay.
Okay. So this thing can rock up and down. I'm just gonna assume we have it right. We were just discussing, does it go in front or behind this? I'm gonna go with probably behind, okay? So we'll wrap this around. Okay. You know, it doesn't look like it actually bites onto that thing. So I'm actually not sure. We need to refer back to the manual picture and check again. Okay, so these things are supposed to be above it according to the drawing, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and plug this in now just to make sure I don't have some length issue later. So get your key lined up. See the key? Mm-hmm. And then it snaps forward. There is no twist involved. If you twist, you'll break your pins, guaranteed. And then you may have to put it back through that. I'm not sure yet. Kind of depends on how bad it looks. I'm gonna just point mine down for the moment. Okay. You can bend the brackets a lot, but I'm just afraid I'm gonna scratch something. This is gonna kind of suck to put those on. All right, so we have this thing here. Yeah, this is gonna be awkward as all get out. Okay, we're gonna pause for a second. Ready? All right, so folks, I've had enough of this. I'm taking this thing off. It's gonna be a lot easier to do it this way. I should have thought to do this in the first place, but I just didn't think of it in time. I thought for sure I should be able to get it done, but yeah, not so much. Okay. Great. Wonderful. Okay, so we're gonna reach right around like that, and we'll just clip it, okay? Once we've done that, we can get this alignment, and then we can set up ourselves for the possibility to finish this, okay? I was seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, and I was wrong. It's a whole nother tunnel, okay? So once this goes in, then we can torque this down. Of course, because it's an eye-lock, you have to hold 3 tools to do it all at once. And I'm just gonna get it started. Well, okay. Okay, so now I'm gonna put this around and just get this prepared to receive the screws and the lock nut. God, what's wrong with a threaded bolt? What's wrong with the nut zert, people? China. I know you can get them. A lot of different moving parts all at once. See, there you go. Okay, once that's started, see, normally if you're gonna have a concealed bracket like this, you would have a folded piece of steel. So instead of actually drilling a hole here, you would use a square stamp press. And you would cut 3 sides and it would pop up a flat, and that flat would catch your nut as you go to tighten this in. So you would have a toolless install on the inside, and then you would have a tool on the outside. But they didn't do that here. It's not the end of the world, but it's still annoying. So I guess at this point I have to re-land this cable, which I am lining up my keyhole so that I can get this lined up. I can't show you very well, my apologies. Then we're just gonna drop this back here so that all the water that would get on it during a rainstorm or event like that will hopefully run down. But keep in mind, this is a dynamic setup. So you're gonna be moving around, you'll be bouncing around, there'll be water spraying up from the wheels. It's gonna be a whole dynamic environment that you're dealing with. Not just rain coming downhill, like on a house and gutter system or something like that, okay? So once you get this thing back in, there's a rubber grommet that fell out of mine. And so that rubber grommet is gonna provide some frictional force between the light, and I've dropped it again. It's just gonna go right here. So we're gonna drop that grommet in. Hopefully we'll get it maybe the 4th time's the charm. Okay, there you go. So now, like I said, because we're in this like weird spot, it's hard to get the tools in. I mean, again, it's still a minor issue in the whole grand scheme of things. It's got a pretty smooth build. But at the end of the day, you know, if I'm gonna make a smooth build, I want the smooth build to be smooth all the way through. So definitely a forgivable problem, but just keep in mind, you are gonna be actuating around this fixed device here, okay? So you need to actuate your wire or your handlebar and make sure that you're not gonna bind your wires when you do actuate. Also, I wanted to point out that this mud flap is not quite as wide as the tire, and I hope that that doesn't turn into a problem later, because I can foresee that being an issue at some point down the road, okay? So we're just gonna torque these bolts and come back and show you how it all went together. All right, guys, so we got the light mounted, went reasonably smooth. It was just a little bit harder than I was hoping. I did, full disclosure, I got an impact and I tightened the screws that I'm concerned about using an H5 and an H4. And the 5 was for the lamp because it was just such a pain to get in there. It was so tight and weird. So I went ahead and did that. And then I got an H4 out and gave it a good cranking down. I got maybe 1/8 of a turn out of there. So I had it pretty tight already. Other than that, let's talk about how the thing looks fully assembled. Obviously it looks really nice. We need to cut free our keys, which I just noticed. We have keys here. So basically when you cut your keys off, just do yourself a favor and put one of the keys away right away, because most of these e-bike manufacturers, you can't get a replacement key very easy, okay?
Are they different or are they the same? Okay.
They're the same. And so basically when you get your key is gonna allow you to pull the battery out, okay? So when you put the key in the keyhole, then you turn it, it unlocks or it locks. Currently it's locked, currently it's opened. So when it's opened, then you can take out the battery. Okay. Although I don't know how it comes out. Oh wait, does this go up? How does it go?
I'm not sure.
Let's find out. All right, so this also goes in and out. So that's different. But I just can't tell because it says opened this way, locked that way, okay? So it doesn't move and it also doesn't move, okay? So this is where you charge it to, by the way. So once this is opened, then you can charge it with the provided charger. So why don't we show the people how the charger works quick? We have an outlet in our island here. So I'll just plug that in. That's just a standard 110 outlet, okay? So my suggestion to you is when you do charge these, make sure they don't sit upside down like that. There are feet on them that help you identify what down is, okay? And the reason you'll want to do that is so the heat sink is up. Okay, then you plug it in, the light changes to a friendly red color, which tells you that things are happening, okay? So now this air filler will be a handy tool, but I'm not sure exactly where to put it. So it doesn't look like there's any really super obvious spot for it, but maybe there's an obvious spot we just haven't found yet. So also I want to spend a minute and just try to fight that battery and see what I'm doing wrong, because the instructions say remove battery, insert battery box guide rail into battery box, push battery case into position so the battery socket is inserted normal. Oh, okay. That's totally useless.
Okay.
But then there's also this rail on top I want to show you guys. So I don't know exactly how that slides off. I think it's screwed in on the end. Oh, that's what it is. There's a couple screws down here. See? Right here and right here. But I'm not sure why they show that. So I'll just go ahead and unplug the battery while it's charging. Goes back to green. I'm gonna go to, that's lock, and that's unlock. And a lot of times, we've been able to pull the batteries out really, really easy, and then other times not so much. This might just be really hard to get out, or I'm doing something wrong. Or is it supposed to be like, you have to twist it to take it out?
The directions are not very clear.
They are not. Oh, good Lord, that is like in there. Like I'm afraid I'm gonna break it. So we might just have to err on the side of, I have no clue right now. So let's put it into the, well, you can feel something's hitting there. So you're definitely moving a lever around. Hear that? Mm-hmm. There it is.
Oh, okay. Wow.
So this is the hydrogen cell. Just kidding, guys. It's a lithium-ion battery. I'm glad they made the correct insulation surface. You are on the wrong insulation surface. Keep pushing will result in damage or accident. Please stop.
Well, at least they asked nicely.
See? So normally...
So maybe it wasn't clicked all the way
yeah, I don't know.
open. Okay.
Maybe it just needed to be rammed in a few times. So slide it on the rail. Till it's all the way in. Press it in. Make sure it's all the way. There it is. And then lock. I had to push pretty hard at the end. Okay, so now at least I can say we showed you that. Because I felt bad about that. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and plug this into charge. And as you can see, it comes along and charges like normal. So you can take the battery out and you can charge it. You can take it out and leave the bike so that the bike is somewhat secured. But just keep in mind, you can still pedal the bike, okay? Right. So you need to secure it like a normal bicycle. We have a thumb throttle. Oh, we have turn signals on this one. That's cool.
Wait,
a horn.
Where?
Yeah, where are the signals? Oh, it's the red thing.
Does the red thing flash?
Yeah, it must have flashiness. So we'll go ahead and, I don't know if we can power it up while it's charging. So just for the sake of safety, we'll go ahead and pull this out of the way. Let's go ahead and turn it on. So on, that's lights. Hold button for 2 seconds to switch on off the light. Press the button to increase. Oh, power. Ah, cool. Hey, that looks familiar.
Okay.
Okay, so we have brakes. Look at the brake light.
Yes, flashing brake light when you're braking.
Okay.
Yes, there is a turn signal.
Right?
Yep. Wow.
Horn.
That's our kid's favorite.
And then let's go show the people the headlight. I can see it even right now on the wall.
That's really bright.
Look at the wall.
Yeah, you can see my shadow.
That's crazy.
Wow.
It's bright in here, folks.
That's really bright.
Yeah, this is like one of the brightest times of the day when our sun's shining in through the kitchen. Okay, so real quick, let's talk about this controller. If you want to come around here. First things first, as with any e-bike, please be careful. Don't hurt yourself. Don't do anything stupid. It's just a regular bicycle with an electric motor on it, okay? So I'm gonna press the brake. While you're not used to the bike, hold the brake. The brake should prevent the throttle from working, but let's test that. Yes, it does, okay?
Okay.
So now I'm gonna go, it's in 0. So when we press plus, it's gonna go to 1, pedal assist level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then all the way down at 0. When we press and hold, it should walk. Yep, it does, okay? So I'll demonstrate that again. So say you're going uphill, you can press and hold the negative and it'll go into walking mode where it runs real slow for you, okay? So then also, let's go ahead and put down the kickstand and talk about one other thing that's very important on this bicycle, okay? There are no seat adjustments on this, okay? That is where the seat is, okay? So that's something I'm just kind of coming to terms with. But in fact, pause. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and just roll this outside and see how we do for ground clearance. I'm gonna turn off my light because we never actually fully charged the bike. And we're just gonna take it outside. Sometimes we have to put air pressure in, sometimes we don't. Those brakes are some of the best brakes we've ever had on an e-bike. I can already tell you that. Okay. And it goes up and down the stairs, super nice. Look at that, guys. Absolutely no problems.
Cool.
So that's nice. And then I just want to see how it fits my body because honestly, I have no idea if this thing's going to be huge or small. I kind of tend to think it's going to be a little bit on the smaller size. Okay. So that is so different. It's like sitting on a motorcycle because it's got such a big body. But then look where my knees are.
Ooh, yeah.
So let's go. I'm gonna just do a quick run. This is gonna be, I set it on pedal assist level 5. And then the throttle's here. Well, it's got some zippiness to it. Nice. Good brakes, really good brakes. I like that a lot.
See if he comes back around or if he's gonna take off on us. In the grass.
It'll definitely translate a lot of inertia into your familial gene pool. But I can definitely tell you this, it feels good, but it feels small for my frame size, my body. I don't know if that's a big problem yet or not.
And you're 6'1", 6'2"?
I'm 6'1", 6'2", with a keg. But look how fast it is. That's not bad.
And he is not pedaling right now, so that's just...
Very good braking.
Braking is definitely good. That's one thing that he's kind of picky about on bikes.
I would not want to pedal for a long time on this thing because your thighs rub.
Oh.
I mean, I suppose if you had really skinny chicken legs, you could do it no problem. But I'm not gonna pedal anyway.
Right.
Who we kidding? Also, look where the pedals are compared to the ground. You see what I'm talking about? Look at that clearance.
Is it good or bad? Does it
It's
feel...
not very much.
Yeah, it doesn't look like very much when you turn like that.
I do have to lean forward quite a bit too. And there's not that much play on the handlebar from which to adjust. Because you see, this would be me sitting up straight and hunched over, and then somewhere in between, that's where I end up. I can definitely say the power is smooth though. It's got a lot of power and it's feels very good. Dang, that kicks you though. Bucks you like a Bronco.
Would it help if you would scooch back on the seat?
Yeah, then it just makes it so you have to reach further.
Oh, okay.
So for me, no, but maybe for another body type, yeah.
Right.
So I can definitely say it gets around and goes. Holy crap, man, that kicks you right where you don't want to get kicked. Okay, so first impressions are, it's got a different feel than any bike I've ever ridden, okay? And we're gonna obviously do our full ride, and you guys have already seen it at the very beginning, but what a cool bike. Even if it's maybe not perfect in every way, maybe if I play with the suspension, I could soften the suspension some. Ooh, it's really easy to adjust. I'm gonna soften the suspension a lot, actually. I don't even need any special tools to do that. Yeah, see, look at that. I'm just gonna barely engage the spring, okay?
Okay.
I'm gonna do the same thing over here because I really wanna give it more softness. Because I feel like what happens is it hits your junk is what happens.
It looks really cool though.
It does look cool. It looks like a World War II.
Yeah.
You know, like some sort of motorcycle from...
thing.
Yeah. But I like the way it rides, and on speed level 5, it's got some decent power. We're gonna do our normal speed stuff, guys, but that pretty much concludes the Unbox Build radio setup. We hope we've answered your questions. We are gonna show how to get into the setup menu on the controller, because we always tend to do that with these e-bikes, because we know you're gonna ask the question, can you make it go faster? And I mean, initially I can tell you this, it actually's got some good speed to it. It's got good ups, but I don't know how it's gonna be in top speed, but it's got enough power to get you out of the hole quick, which is nice. So anyway, so far, the YYG, is that what that is?
Yeah.
The YYG something or another. Follow the links if you wanna make one your own. I like it a lot. I think I'm gonna like it a lot better when it's dark, because it's gonna have one of the biggest lights we've ever seen. It's also got the turn signals, which is super cool, but also unnecessary in my opinion for what we do with it. And if you intend to pedal, you better not be as tall as I am, because you're not gonna wanna pedal this bike a lot. You're gonna rub right here every time you pedal. So the pedal is like a last resort, guys. But other than that, you're also gonna wanna make sure you ride your pedals up high so you don't drag your feet on the ground as you're making tighter turns. So anyway, that's my initial thoughts on this bike. It looks amazing. Can't wait to get a little bit of mileage on it. And I'm definitely gonna do an off-road sorties for you, just like we always do. And we'll try to give you guys a better idea of what to expect if you decide to buy one. These things are expensive. We know that they are, and we know that you guys wanna make a good decision. And so that's why you're here at Brian Phillips RC, so that you can check out some of the features. We didn't even really talk about this bag, mostly because there's not much to it. But inside here, there's some more stuff. Oh, it came with a cell phone mounting bracket. That's pretty sweet.
Oh.
Well, the camera crew said it was empty, but she evidently didn't look.
Open it.
So there's a place for a cell phone bracket here, so that's pretty sweet. So I don't know if that's a feature that's supposed to come with it, or if it just got included on accident, or if it was some special. But we'll go ahead and get that mounted next. And then is there anything else in here? Yep. There's that thing. So I don't know. Oh, that goes for the bracket. Oh. So we'll go inside, get this bracket. We'll come right back. Okay, so we're gonna mount this cell phone bracket real quick. So I'll just show you how we built ours. So you can copy along if you need the help. You see that? Got a thumb nut here. Do this for a long time. And then eventually it snaps down to 2 different snap point. There's 3 different positions actually. Okay. So once this is done, there's a nut that we want to make sure we don't lose right there, it looks like. And we can snap this on after we're all mounted with our bracket. So where would that normally go? Whoops. That would normally go, wouldn't you say, something like in the center?
Yeah. Will it reach?
Yeah, I think so. We'll find out in a second here. Or does it need to go up here? Yeah, probably up here. I think up here it seems
fits
like better. Yeah. If I go to the middle size, there's 3 sizes. It's a little awkward to get. But you see the 3 sizes allow you to bite different size clamp points. So I think I'm gonna go to the outside most. Yeah. I can go to the second one and if it'll go, yeah. That'll use up more of the bolt. Okay, so as it tightens. Okay. So we'll go ahead and see if I can get that to go. Is it going?
Can't tell yet.
What the heck am I doing wrong?
There it goes. Looks lined up now.
So I don't know if this is available on the website or if it was just a special that they included. But definitely making me work for it. Come on now. All right, so I have the cell phone bracket here. And then they have this little provisional safety device thing. I'm just gonna put it around here. You could have done it before the circle part. And the way this works is pretty basic stuff. You slide it in and then it slips down until it locks. There you go. Okay. And so in my case, I'm gonna press the release, move the phone up just a little bit, hit my lock screen button, and then you just grab and pull this up and around, and it just gives you an additional layer of security. And I think I probably have that backward. That should probably be the other way around, like this. Depends on what direction your cell phone likes to fit. Okay. So then I can do opposite corners maybe. So there's an opposite corner. And so in my case, it's gonna hold on to, I've got an OtterBox commuter case on this Galaxy S9. And so as you can see, that gives you some level of additional protection in case a bracket would fail while you're riding, okay? So that's a pretty nice little setup. Looks good from this side. So I feel like it's gonna be a good angle. It could be a good angle. And then of course, you can always tighten this down if you wanna make it kind of hold still. But yeah, okay, so there you have it. That seems to work okay. Nothing too major there. And then in order to get in and out of the menu on this, we are gonna find that out right now because it looks like right now we've got, that's decrease, that's increase. And then is there anything else? There's the power button. Looks like odometer. maxes, I don't think that's a word. Average, trip, odometer.
Max speed.
Press it and that turns on and off. Okay. So when you start and you're holding the brake, I think it might say that E05. So that's like an error. Okay, well there you have it guys. So we evidently have a cell phone bracket that was installed or added into ours. I'm not sure if that's normal or if that was like a special going on. But one way or another, if you guys enjoyed watching this video in any way or if it helped answer your questions, please don't forget to smash the like button. Click the bell for notifications when you're choosing to subscribe because the algorithm is running differently nowadays and YouTube does not necessarily automatically suggest videos if you're subscribed to a particular channel. What they do is they use the algorithm to help drive their recommendations. And that's really where a channel finds success or failure. So anyway, cool bike, excited to get it out on the road. And real quick, just to remind you, this is the YYG, that's pretty much it. So we'll just call it the YYG, and we hope that you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned, so much more from Brian Phillips RC. I promise you there's RC content coming right around the corner.